Hey everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Pulse. Today, we're going to be looking at this new thing that Amazon's doing called Amazon Haul and trying to figure out, is this a real game changer for online shopping or just another flash in the pan? And with me to break it all down is an expert on retail trends and consumer behavior. Thanks for joining me.
It's my pleasure to be here. There's certainly a lot to unpack with this new development from Amazon.
Absolutely. And we've got some sources here to guide us, a press release straight from Amazon and some insightful reporting from CNBC, so we'll be able to get the full picture. So let's dive right in. What exactly is Amazon Haul?
Well, in essence, it's like a digital bargain bin tucked away within the vast Amazon marketplace. It's a dedicated section within their app and website that focuses solely on ultra-low priced items, with most falling under the $10 mark, some even as low as $1. Think fashion finds, home goods, electronics, and more. Basically a treasure trove of affordable items
Yeah.
across various categories.
Okay, that sounds almost too good to be true. What's the catch?
The trade-off, as is often the case with these incredibly low prices, comes in the form of delivery times. Instead of Amazon's usual emphasis on speed and near instant gratification, they're acknowledging that haul orders will take a bit longer. We're talking 1 to 2 weeks on average.
That's interesting. It definitely seems like a departure from their usual lightning fast shipping,
Mm-hmm.
especially for Prime members
Yeah.
who are used to getting things in a day or two, sometimes even the same day.
Exactly. And that's why this move is so intriguing. It signals a potential shift in Amazon's strategy, and perhaps a broader shift in consumer expectations for online shopping. This focus on slower delivery for lower prices begs the question, are we as consumers becoming more willing to prioritize cost savings over instant gratification?
It's a good question. It seems like Amazon might be responding to the rise of these ultra-discount online stores, like Temu and Shein, which have exploded in popularity, especially among younger shoppers.
That's a very astute observation. Platforms like Temu and Shein have cleverly tapped into several key trends. They've mastered the art of fast fashion, offering trendy items at rock-bottom prices. They've seamlessly integrated social media, leveraging influencer marketing to reach a vast audience. And most importantly, they've made the shopping experience incredibly frictionless, particularly for mobile users.
So is Amazon Haul a direct response to this new wave of online retailers, almost a defensive move to maintain its dominance in the e-commerce case?
It's certainly plausible. While Amazon still holds the lion's share of the market, these emerging platforms are chipping away at its edges, especially among the younger, more budget-conscious demographic. Amazon Haul could be their attempt to reclaim some of that lost ground.
So tell me more about the specifics of Amazon Haul. How does it actually work? Do you have to download a separate app, or is it integrated into the existing Amazon platform?
It's all conveniently integrated. Within the existing Amazon app and website, you've got a dedicated search function, shopping cart, and checkout process specifically for haul items, making the whole experience quite seamless.
And they're still offering free shipping and returns, right? I mean, that's been a big part of Amazon's appeal over the years.
Free shipping kicks in for haul orders over $25, which is a fairly reasonable threshold. For orders under that, there's a flat $3.99 shipping fee. As for returns, anything priced over $3 is eligible for free returns within 15 days.
Wait, so anything under $3 is non-returnable?
It appears so. I imagine that's their way of mitigating costs and keeping those prices as low as possible. However, it does highlight the potential downsides of this ultra-cheap shopping model. You're getting rock-bottom prices, but there's a bit more risk involved.
That makes sense. You mentioned earlier that most items on Amazon Haul are under $10, and some are even as low as $1. Can you give us some specific examples of what people can find on Haul?
Absolutely. In the materials we have here, there's mention of a 3-piece trimmer razor set for under $3, an array of colorful table runners for just $2.99, and even an iPhone 16 case for a mere $1.79.
Wow, those prices are really unbelievable. And you said this isn't just about trendy or disposable items, right? There are also practical things available on Haul.
Right. They've got things like touchscreen winter gloves for just over $3, allowing you to use your phone without freezing your fingers off. These examples really showcase the range of products and the value proposition that Amazon Haul is offering.
This brings up a question that's probably on everyone's mind. What about the quality of these products? Can you really trust items that are priced so low?
That's a valid concern. It's natural to be a bit skeptical when you see prices that seem almost too good to be true. However, it's important to remember that Amazon's A to Z guarantee still applies to everything sold through Haul.
Can you elaborate on what the A to Z guarantee entails?
Certainly. The A to Z guarantee essentially ensures buyer protection. If the item you receive isn't as described, arrives damaged, or there are any other issues, Amazon will step in to resolve the situation. They're emphasizing that all products sold through Haul, whether by Amazon directly or their selling partners,
Hmm.
are covered by this guarantee.
That's reassuring to hear. It sounds like Amazon is trying to maintain some level of quality control and build trust, even within this discount setting.
Absolutely. They're even highlighting the fact that they screen all products for safety, authenticity, and compliance with regulations, just like with their regular marketplace. It's not like they're simply throwing any old thing up there.
This focus on quality and buyer protection is interesting, especially considering the incredibly low prices. It makes me wonder how sustainable this model is in the long run.
That's a great point, and it's certainly something to consider. As we further analyze this development, we'll explore that further in our next segment.
Okay, we'll pick this back up later today. Thanks for listening to part 1 of this look into Amazon Haul on Pop Culture Pulse. Stay tuned for part 2 coming up later today.
Welcome back to Pop Culture Pulse. We were just discussing the A to Z guarantee that Amazon offers for all of the products in their new discount storefront Amazon Haul, which should give shoppers some peace of mind. But as you alluded to before, there are some questions surrounding the sustainability of this ultra discount model, both from a business perspective and in terms of its broader impact.
Exactly. On the one hand, it's exciting for consumers to have access to such incredibly low prices. But it also makes me wonder, how can Amazon afford to do this? And what are the potential downsides?
Well, one way they're likely managing costs is by leveraging their massive scale and negotiating power. They can buy goods in bulk directly from manufacturers, often overseas, cutting out intermediaries and reducing costs significantly. And let's not forget, they're also encouraging larger orders. With those tiered discounts, 5% off if you spend over $50, 10% off for orders exceeding $75, incentivizing shoppers to fill up their carts and increase average order value.
Right, and those tier discounts really tap into the whole haul culture phenomenon that's been exploding online.
Precisely. It's a brilliant marketing tactic, really. They're aligning themselves with a trend that's already deeply ingrained in consumer behavior, particularly among younger generations, who are accustomed to seeing these massive online shopping sprees, showcased on platforms like TikTok and YouTube.
Can you elaborate a bit more on this haul culture and why it's become so prevalent?
Haul culture is, in essence, a celebration of mass consumption, often fueled by the thrill of finding bargains and showcasing one's purchases online. It's driven by a desire for instant gratification, a sense of community among fellow shoppers, and the allure of getting a great deal.
It's interesting, though, isn't it? There's a certain allure to seeing someone unbox mountains of stuff, but it also raises some concerns about overconsumption and its impact on the environment.
Absolutely. It's a double-edged sword for sure. While haul culture can be fun and entertaining, it's important to be mindful of its potential to fuel excessive buying habits. We need to ask ourselves, do we really need all this stuff, or are we just getting swept up in the moment?
Right. It's a good reminder to be conscious consumers and make purchasing decisions that align with our values. Now, shifting gears a bit, one thing that struck me as particularly interesting is Amazon's decision to emphasize free returns on most haul items, but with a $3 threshold. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a clever strategy, really. By offering free returns on items over $3, they're mitigating some of the risk for buyers, especially those hesitant about purchasing ultra-cheap goods online. It instills a sense of trust and encourages shoppers to take a chance on products they might otherwise be hesitant to try.
But by making items under $3 non-returnable, they're also subtly pushing shoppers towards higher-priced items, those above the $3 mark. It's a subtle nudge towards larger orders and increased revenue.
Exactly. And it also helps them manage the logistical challenges and costs associated with processing returns for such low-priced goods. Remember, those 1 to 2 week delivery times suggest these items are likely being shipped directly from overseas manufacturers. So the return process would be even more complex and costly.
That makes sense. So they're offering free returns where it makes strategic sense, but drawing a line to protect their bottom line. It's a balancing act for sure.
Indeed. And let's not forget, those longer delivery times, while a departure from Amazon's usual speed, also have potential benefits for them.
I'm curious to hear more about that. How could slower delivery actually be advantageous for Amazon?
Well, first and foremost, it allows them to offer those incredibly low prices. Slower shipping methods, often involving bulk shipments from overseas, are significantly less expensive than expedited domestic shipping.
So the cost savings are passed on to the consumer in the form of those rock-bottom prices.
Right. And it also allows them to tap into a wider pool of manufacturers, potentially sourcing goods from regions with lower production costs. This opens up new possibilities for product selection and variety on Amazon Haul.
That makes a lot of sense, but it also makes me wonder about the impact on consumer behavior. Are shoppers really willing to wait 1 to 2 weeks
Yeah.
for their purchases, especially in today's world of instant gratification?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer likely varies depending on the individual shopper and the type of product. For certain items, those non-essential, nice-to-have purchases, people might be more willing to wait for a bargain.
But for essential items, those things you need right away, they're likely to stick with Amazon's traditional Prime delivery options.
Precisely. It's all about finding the right balance and catering to the diverse needs and preferences of their vast customer base. And remember, even for those willing to wait, 1 to 2 weeks is still relatively fast compared to some other online retailers, especially those sourcing goods directly from overseas.
Right. It seems like Amazon is strategically positioning Amazon Haul as a distinct experience. Within their broader marketplace, it's almost like a separate store within a store.
That's a great analogy. It allows them to experiment with a new business model without disrupting their core offerings. And it also creates a sense of exclusivity, almost like a treasure hunt for bargain-seeking shoppers.
This whole concept of a treasure hunt within Amazon Haul is fascinating. It's like they're trying to recreate the experience of browsing a physical discount store, but in a digital format.
Exactly. They're tapping into that innate desire for discovery, that thrill of finding a hidden gem at an unbeatable price. It's a smart strategy to drive engagement and keep shoppers coming back for more.
I think that's a great point to end this segment on. We've covered a lot of ground, from the economics of Amazon Haul to its potential impact on consumer behavior. We'll be back to discuss the broader implications of this development and what it might signal for the future of online shopping. Welcome back to Pop Culture Pulse. We've been talking about Amazon's foray into this world of ultra-discount shopping. With their new platform, Amazon Haul, we've talked about the features, its potential impact on consumer behavior, and even delved a bit into the psychology of haul culture. But now I'd like to shift our focus to the bigger picture. What are the broader implications of this development? How might Amazon Haul disrupt the retail landscape, both online and offline?
That's a crucial question, and I think we're only beginning to see the ripple effects of this strategic move by Amazon. First and foremost, it throws down the gauntlet to existing discount retailers like Temu, Shein, Wish, and even giants like Walmart and Target. Amazon's sheer scale, its established logistics network, and the trust factor associated with its brand, combined with these ultra-low prices, pose a formidable challenge to competitors.
So it's not just about stealing market share from those already operating in the discount space. It's also about setting a new standard for what consumers expect from online shopping.
Precisely. If people become accustomed to finding incredible deals on Amazon Haul, they might start demanding similar price points from other retailers. This could force a race to the bottom, squeezing profit margins and potentially impacting product quality across the board.
It's almost like Amazon is raising the stakes, forcing everyone else to up their game or risk being left behind.
Absolutely. And it's not just about price competition, it's also about redefining the shopping experience. Amazon Haul, with its focus on discovery and bargain hunting, is blurring the lines between online and offline shopping. It's essentially replicating the thrill of browsing a physical discount store, but within the convenience of a digital platform. And with those longer delivery times, it harkens back to the anticipation and delayed gratification associated with catalog shopping, albeit with a modern twist.
So it's a blend of nostalgia and cutting-edge technology, catering to both our desire for instant gratification and our innate love of a good deal.
Exactly. It taps into multiple psychological and behavioral trends, making it a potentially potent force in shaping the future of retail. But as with any major shift in consumer behavior, there are questions about the long-term sustainability of this model.
What are some of those concerns?
Well, one key question is whether Amazon can maintain these ultra-low prices indefinitely. As we discussed earlier, they're likely leveraging their massive scale and negotiating power to secure these deals. But global supply chains are complex and subject to fluctuations in material costs, labor costs, and shipping costs. If any of those factors were to shift significantly, it could impact Amazon's ability to maintain these incredibly low price points.
Right. And then there are the environmental considerations. Shipping millions of products, often from overseas, has a significant carbon footprint. And the emphasis on low prices and mass consumption could exacerbate the problem. of overconsumption and waste.
Absolutely. Those are crucial factors to consider. And it's not just about the environmental impact. There are also ethical implications. The fast fashion industry, which
Yeah.
is heavily represented on platforms like Amazon Haul, has faced criticism for its labor practices and its contribution to environmental degradation.
So it's not just about convenience and affordability. It's also about making conscious choices as consumers and holding retailers accountable for their impact on the planet and on society as a whole.
Precisely. It's about finding a balance between our desire for value and our responsibility to make ethical and sustainable choices. And it's about encouraging retailers to adopt more responsible practices, even within a discount model.
I think that's a great point to wrap up our discussion on. Amazon Haul is a fascinating development, one that raises as many questions as it answers. It's a bold experiment that could reshape the retail landscape, but its long-term success and its impact on society remain to be seen. We'll be watching closely to see how this unfolds. And of course, we'll be keeping you updated on all the latest trends and developments right here on Pop Culture Pulse. Thanks for joining us.